What is up, everyone? Welcome to Reality Room Spoilers with Paul, bringing you the latest on BB19 Live Feeds. Okay, so a lot has happened since my last video, so I'm just going to jump right into it. So first and foremost, Paul decided to change up his original plan because he realized how stupid it was to put up two people on his own side, and instead he opted to put up two pawns from the other side, or at least people that aren't in his main alliance. So, and he talked to his group about it, and he decided to put up Alex and Josh. Now, before the nominations went out, he talked to each of them individually. He talked to Alex first, and they had a very long, fruitful conversation, basically saying, I mean, listen, like, I trust you now, because apparently Alex let Paul cut her in line during the HOH competition. And that was basically when that was actually right when he won the competition. So that was pretty fruitful. And so they're talking, and I think their relationship is really getting better now, Alex and Paul. And Paul is basically telling Alex, yeah, just talk to everyone in the alliance a little bit. They're starting to trust you more, because I'm starting to like say how like you're batting for the team, and if you be a pawn, people are going to see that you're also going to bat to get Cody out for the back door. So Alex and Paul talk, and they basically form like a little mini alliance. I'm not sure how serious the alliance is, because Paul basically is working with almost everybody in the house when you think about it. Because he's playing it safe for later in the game, obviously. But yeah, they form a little mini alliance, Alex and Paul. Okay, so Paul also talks to Josh, and he's just like, yeah, Josh, listen, like, we know we want people to really gun for the veto, and I want you to be the pawn, because I know you will really go out there and try your best to win the veto, just in case Cody or Jessica get picked, so that you can take yourself off and backdoor them. Okay? All right, so those two end up on the block, and Ramses decides to put himself on the block this week with this curse. So we have 3 people on the block this week, which is a fun little throwback to previous seasons. So 3 people on the block. Actually, it's the second time this happened this season when you think about it. All right, so anyway, let's jump into, So let's jump into Jason and Jason's relationship with people in the house. So as I said before, Alex is kind of making like her rebound in this game, and it's really reminiscent of this is how I feel. Let me know how you guys think about this down below. But if you guys remember Paul from Big Brother 18, how he kind of, like in the beginning of the game, people kind of didn't, on one side of the house, really didn't like him at all. They all talked smack and this, that, and the other thing. But then he made his rebound the following week, week number 2, when he talked to I think when Paulie was HOH, and he said he was going to be a pawn, and then he basically rebounded with everybody, and mid game he was basically the head honcho. So I feel like that's kind of what Alex is doing at this point. So week 1, she was a little loud, a little rambunctious around the house. She showed her cards maybe a little too early in competitions. And week 2, she's playing the pawn. She's talking to everyone in the house. She's giving Jason advice, actually, because Jason was talking to Cody and Jessica. And people around the house are seeing that. They're like, oh, Jason's still talking to Cody and Jess. I don't think we can trust Jason still. And Alex is talking to Jason because Paul mentions it to Alex that people are noticing this about Jason. And Alex basically tells Jason, you have to cut this out because people are starting to look at you. And once people start looking at you, then you're a target, basically. So she's just giving him advice, and whether or not he'll follow it, I'm not exactly too sure, but we'll see. It's kind of like Paul giving Victor advice in BB18 in week 2. He's like, Victor, just be careful this week, and week number 2 when Victor was evicted first anyway. He's just like, just be a little careful, whatever. So I feel like it's a similar advice that Alex is giving to Jason at this point. It's just a little, I just found the comparison to be interesting. Let me know if you agree with me down below. Let's see here. All right, so Christmas ended up winning the temptation. What the temptation is that she gets to replace someone in the veto competition if she doesn't like who was picked, basically. So she can replace someone with herself in the veto competition. Now, that's a pretty good power, especially this week if Cody or Jessica was picked for the veto. Fortunately for them, that ended up not being the case. So I'll let you guys know who the players who were picked for the veto were. So the players who were picked for the veto were Matt and Elena. Like I said before, there's 3 people on the block plus Paul. That's 4 plus 2. That's 6. So those are the 6 players playing the veto competition. Okay. So I guess I'll just jump right into the veto competition then. So it ended up being like some sort of airport type thing, and there ended up being 5 sections to it, from what I've heard. And each section you had to it was in a room. You had to notice something in the room, and then you had to answer a question about something in the room, basically. So I think and Ramses was supposed to throw this competition, mind you, but he ended up getting 2nd place with 7-something minutes. But Paul ended up winning the competition, and so Paul wins the veto. But he's pissed off at Ramses because Ramses told Paul before the competition that he to basically max out his time so that they can throw the competition so we can backdoor Cody. So everyone in the house is pissed off at Ramses now for not throwing the competition, because in their eyes, and I'm not sure if this is the case, I haven't seen Ramses talking to Cody and Jess, but I'm sure what Cody was thinking, not Cody, I'm sure what Ramses was thinking is that if he was to have won this competition, he could take himself off. There would be no replacement nominee there because he was put up due to some curse, so there would be no replacement. And then next week, it would be him, Jason, Cody, and Jessica playing for the HOH. Now, that did not happen, but he did get very close. 7 minutes, going through 5 sections, answering questions. That's pretty good. And I think Paul said that. Yeah, Paul said, I believe he got 2nd place, which is very impressive. But Paul ended up winning, so I guess it doesn't really matter too much. But what could have been this week, it just pissed off everyone on that side of the house. Now, I understand why Ramses would want to do that. It's probably better for his game because people don't trust him on that side of the house anyway. So he's probably just like, fuck them, I'm just going to try for the veto anyway. But he's still maintaining the fact to them that he tried to throw it, which, I don't know. We'll find out exactly on Wednesday if that was his intention. I personally don't think he was trying to throw it, though. I think he was very much so trying to win. And he even talked to them after. He was like, yeah, I know it looks sketch, but trust me, guys, I tried to throw it. Just a little awkward. Okay, so let's see. One other thing. All right. Did I mention that Cody, Jessica, and Jason were vetoed? Right. So Christmas, I'm talking about this a little late now, but Christmas, when she won her temptation, had to pick 3 people to wear like a toad costume, and the 3 people she chose. I don't know why she got to choose this. I really liked the aspect of Paul in the first week having to pick randomly. I found that to be very, very fun. So I felt like if they kept that, it would have been a lot more, interesting in the house. But instead, Christmas got to pick, and she picked Jason, Cody, and Jessica to wear frog suits. So that's just a little fun tidbit. Okay, so what Paul's going to do with the veto? He already talked. He talked to Alex. He's like, "Listen, you're killing it. Everyone in the house likes you right now. So because of that, I'm going to keep you on the block. Only because I know Cody, only because I know Jessica, and I know Jessica or whatever can't talk to Josh. Jessica and Cody can't talk to Josh into voting because they hate each other, into voting Alex out instead because Josh hates them. So where Jason, Cody, and Jessica could potentially talk to Alex into voting, into rallying Alex into voting Josh out. Getting my names all confused now, but yeah, that's basically what's in Paul's mindset. But Paul's completely trusts Alex at this point, or mostly trusts Alex at this point. So he's keeping her on the block, and Alex understands. So Paul will be taking Josh off the block, I guess on Monday, and backdooring Cody. At least that's the plan right now. If things change, obviously I will tell you. So Dominique had another one of those interview situations, and I mentioned this a couple of videos ago. She actually had a few of these at this point. I think this is the third or fourth. They could have been more. I'm not entirely sure, but Dominique does her little interview things. Dominique the Dominator. She interviewed Raven, and she also interviewed Jason. Raven basically talking about like her story and everything like that. Jason talking about his background, his life. Fairly interesting. I think it was around. I think it happened around 10. I want to say 10:30, somewhere between 10:30 and 11 Pacific time on the feed. So if you want to watch her, if you want to watch Dominique's little interview thing, you can check that out. Paul had a conversation with Jessica. So Jessica came up to Paul's HOH room because she wanted to talk, and she was basically like, "Listen, Paul, like you're a vet. I want to ask you, like your opinion, like how do you cope with like the emotional aspect of the game, with like people avoiding you and whatnot?" And Paul's just like, "Listen, that's just part of the game. We just have to deal with it, and it'll make you a stronger person in the long run. And you know, it is what it is." And Jessica like kind of suggested that Paul had things stacked in his favor this game, and Paul's just like scoffing it off. But I mean, like she's not exactly wrong about that, because Paul did get the 3 week of safety, which might have been a little overkill. But I wouldn't say Paul had it in his favor the entire game. I would say he had it in his favor for like the first 3 weeks of safety. After that, it's all free for all for Paul. So I think Jessica was mistaken when she said with her wording there. What she should have said was, "You had it easy for the first 3 weeks," because that is exactly right. But Paul's also been playing a really, really impressive game. But he'll have one of those. I have a feeling he'll have one of those big downfalls because, I mean, even he thinks he will at this point. He says he's probably not winning, which I don't know. We'll see. We saw Jason make Final 2 in BBOTT, so who knows? All right, so I'm going to end it there. I'm just going to check my notes to see if I missed anything. Nope, don't think so. Okay, so I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. If you have any questions or if something new happened on the feeds, please mention it down below, because you know I always want to be caught up with stuff too, because I'm not on the feeds 24/7, although I always try to be. So please like if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't like the video, please dislike. I really don't care. Anyway, until next time, guys, peace.